Good evening, everybody. Wednesday night, almost 8 o'clock. Had a couple of quick things before I talk about silver. Um, One is the hunt for Jimmy Hoffa. How crazy is this government to spend all this money looking for Jimmy Hoffa after 25 or 30 years, however long it's been? I mean, any crackpot wise guy can say, I know where Jimmy Hoffa is, and they're going to spend $1 million trying to dig him up. Now, what in the Sam hell are they going to prove after all these years? It just doesn't make any damn sense at all. This government is willing, and then you ask for, uh, you know, uh, people complain about people getting food stamps, and yet the FBI's got time to run around and look for Jimmy Hoffa. And the other thing is this interesting report about that plane crash off of Long Island a couple of years ago, and it seems like it's got everybody, all the conspiracy guys, back up and at 'em, and there seems to be enough witnesses that and it's not improbable that the government lied to us all along. The government apparently has been spying on us all along, and for it to lie, it lied about the spying. It'll lie about anything. This is this government is worse than 1984. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is that silver bullet, silver shield. Now, now they have a brand new coin. Let me tell you what the coin is. It's the marijuana coin with the marijuana face, and it's the slave queen with the slave queen face. And they put them both on one coin, and bingo, you got a brand new coin. Now, I warned about this before when they started putting the two freedom girls both on one side, or when they put the freedom girl and the slave girl on opposite sides. These people are a bunch of whores. And anybody, no matter whether you think you can turn a dollar over or not, if you want to contribute to these whores, then you're part of the problem, not part of the solution. The solution is to run assholes like this out of business. Now, get on with the serious stuff because these guys aren't serious. They think they can put a marijuana thing in there selling marijuana t-shirts. Listen, buddy, 45 years ago, I invented a guy called Rocky Marijuana Seed. And believe me, the stories about marijuana and people wanting to legalize marijuana. All these organizations that want to legalize marijuana, that is the last thing in the world they want to see because they're all making a living off the fact that it isn't legal and that they're sucking contributions out of you. You got to look into these things. There's a group called Normal that, well, you know, I'm sure most of you know my comics. I shouldn't even do this, but these are things that I wrote. I wrote in the '60s, and then made into comics in the '90s. So trying to make a buck off of marijuana isn't a new thing. And these guys trying to make like they're great freedom fighters by putting the putting a marijuana leaf on a coin is just absurd. They're late to the party and they're trying to make a living off of it. So watch these bastards. They're nothing but a bunch of whores. Speaking of whores, we still got the Royal Canadian Mint and the Perth Mint cracking out shit every day, new shit. So you got to be careful out there. Now let's talk about silver. Silver took a big hit again today, and it might continue to take hit day after day. And why? Because the Bernanke's speech that perhaps his quantitative easing number three is going to go by the wayside or start to be cut back, and that means that there's $85 billion a month that won't be pumped, that will no longer be pumped into the economy. Now that hurt everybody today. The market took a crash, silver and gold took a crash. Now silver at 21.26 is is very close to really getting people panicked and and more of a sell-off taking place. You know, so we could see below 20 silver and there's no legitimate uh, actual silver reason behind it. And they say, well, with the economy slipping, demand will go down. Listen, demand last year was over 1 billion ounces. Mine silver was 800 million ounces. So they had to go to more above ground silver to make up the difference. So say it takes a million ounce hit industrial silver, and it's highly unlikely because more and more people are still buying cell phones, they're still buying computers, they're still buying any kind of technology and all kinds that require uh, all kinds require some silver in them. And it's just ridiculous to assume that places like Africa and South America will ever be hardwired, that they're gonna all be using cell phones and everything else, and people have a tendency to break them, to drop them, to lose them, to whatever, to want the latest one. So even if silver took $100 million industrial hit next year, it seems that bullion demand is still strong, and as you people know, most of you aren't selling. Who the hell is selling real silver at these prices? And look at the mines. Mining of silver now is a disaster. If you're in the mining business, you're losing your ass. And there are naysayers out there that are talking about $10 and $12 silver and $8 silver. They're absolutely out of their fucking minds. All they want to do is, if it ever a total catastrophe come and silver went down there, they can say, "I told you so." Now, if silver doesn't, then everybody just forgets about these loons. See? Now, we're not going to see $10, $12 silver. We might see $18 silver. But what I'm doing is I'm holding back. Now, you see the crap that I buy from Tom. Well, that's because it's all worth more than I pay for it. Because it either is a collection or it's stuff out of the junk pile that no one else wanted. Like uh, those Barbados. I screwed up the name Barbados. I screwed that up in my video. Those are actually worth more than I paid for them, but nobody wants them. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm buying. I'm not buying anything else. I'm not I'm not sending away for any more Libertads or any Eagles or anything else. Now here's the only advice I'll give, because I don't tell anybody what to buy or when not to buy. It's up to them and whether they want to buy shiny crap and pay $50 for it, or butterflies with no silver and pay $30 for it. That's up to you. But I'd rather myself pay an extra dollar, maybe even two, on the way up than pay an extra dollar, two or three, on the way down. Because when this bottoms out, when it turns around, it won't do anything meteoric, but it should turn. Once it turns around, we should see a decent jump in the price of silver, and that might not be till Christmas. It might not be till early next year. But I would rather buy and pay more, pay a dollar or two more on the way up than on the way down. So I don't think I'll be getting any packages from AppMex or from Provident or from anybody else, but I still might pick up some junk that there are some sets. Every set I ever bought off of Tom was worth considerably more than the silver in it. So I'm sitting here thinking, that I'm taking as big or bigger hit than most of you out there, but I'm not I'm I'm not loony enough to sell.